Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the hyperbola. A hyperbola is a graph of a function of the form y equals to k over x, where k is called a constant variation. Which means that the relationship between y and x does not change. For example, y equals to 1 over x. Now let's draw a table of values. If x equals to -2, in this case y would be -1 over 2. If x is -1, y is the same, which is -1. And this x can't be 0 since the denominator cannot be 0. So if x equals to 0, there would be no any values. And if x equals to 1, y would be 1 over 1, still 1. If x is 2, y would be 1 over 2, so it's a half. Okay, now let's try to draw the graph with the number table. So when x is -2, which let's say is around here, y equals to -1 over 2, which is pretty close to the x-axis, let's say it's here. And when x equals to -1, y also equals to -1, so it's here. And when x equals to -1/2, y would be the reciprocal of -1/2, which is -2. So when x equals to 1/2, the dot would be even further down, which is around here. So we can join it together and it shows up a curve like this, same as the positive side. Okay, so that's what a hyperbola looks like. Apart from that, a hyperbola also have a limit. So as we've done before, we can see that when x equals to 0, y doesn't have a value because the denominator can't be 0. So when the x value became very close to 0, the y value becomes very big. For example, in this case, y equals to 1 over x. Let's sub x as 0.01, which y turns out to be 1 over 0.01 equals to 100. So when x became smaller, y value became bigger. So in this case, the x cannot be 0. Alright, now let's look at some special cases of the hyperbola. Let's have a look at this question. Function x equals to 3 over x minus 3. So since the denominator cannot be 0, x cannot be 3. So the domain of this function would be -infinite, 3, and infinite. And y can't be 0 either, so the range would turn out to be -infinite, 0, 0, infinite. So the x value and y values cannot be 3 and 0 respectively. In this case, x can't be 3 and y cannot be 0. And these two x's are called asymptotes. So the asymptote is a line that the curve approaches but never touches. So in this case, the curve would be something like this. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.